Welcome to Gradelink's Data Import tool. In this video, we'll be going through the steps to import your staff, classes, and student data into this tool so that it can generate a properly formatted CSV for your support representative to import your data into Gradelink. There are two methods to import data. One is manually and adding each staff, class, and student individually, or you can do a bulk import. To use the bulk import, you'll want to make sure you have your data within the Excel or CSV template that is provided up here. We recommend downloading the master Excel sheet and placing all of your data and properly formatted into the master Excel sheet so that you can bulk import it into this tool. To give an overview of how to add a new staff manually, you'll simply, on the Staff tab, click Add New Entry. You'll see a pop-up with the information that you'll need to input. Required fields are marked by the red asterisks. In this case, if I want to put first name teacher, and the account type is also required, there's a drop down. You can select full administrator, limited administrator, teacher, or no access if you have someone you want added into Gradelink but does not have access to the Gradelink system. The teacher profile will set up user account in Gradelink that has a teacher level access and can be assigned classes. Full administrators and limited administrators do not have access to the teacher level role of Gradelink, but have full access to every other part of the system. Therefore, if you have one staff member that is both an administrator and needs administrator privileges to Gradelink and a teacher, if you select full or limited administrator, you have the option to check the box for yes, this staff member will also teach classes, and it will automatically create a teacher profile for that person in addition to the administrator profile. The other fields here are optional: salutation, job title, mobile number, staff school email, and staff personnel email. Once you've entered the required fields, you may click Add or Save and Add New if you want to go straight to adding the next staff member. Once you've added them, they'll show up in the Preview section of the Staff tab. If you want to use the bulk import tool, you'll need to remove any manually created entries here and click bulk import. The way the bulk import works is you can either drop files here or click to upload. Clicking on the box will, depending on if you're using a PC or a Mac, will generate a window so you can select a file from your desktop. It's for this reason that you'll want to prepare your spreadsheet ahead of time with all your data. You may also drag and drop your data sheet straight into the import tool, like this. You may, if you accidentally upload the wrong file type, it will notify you. Now that I'm dragging and dropping an Excel sheet in, it should accept that, and it'll take us to the next step. For the select worksheet, this step will apply if you are uploading an Excel sheet like the template that was provided that contains more than one sheet of data. In this case, it has staff, classes, students, grade skills, subgrades, and settings. And we'll select the Staff tab since that's where our staff data is located. Click Next or click on step 3 above to select headers. The tool will automatically pull in any columns that are in the spreadsheet, go through and assign column headers. Note that there is a setting that is on by default to skip the first row when importing. So if you already have column headers or column labels in your spreadsheet above the data, you'll want to leave this option checked. Most of the time, this is applicable, which is why it's the default setting. You'll also see that it's pulling in hidden columns that may not necessarily include data. So you can simply skip those. Where the red highlighted blinking option are, this is where we're going to select the column header for any applicable columns. For example, here we have data in the first column under first name. So we're going to select the column for first name, last name, account type, job title. If you have any columns that are empty, you simply need to assign the ones with the asterisks next to them for required ones, which are first name, last name, and account type. Now that we've assigned all of our column headers and made sure that the option to skip the first row, which contains the column headers from the spreadsheet, we can click on Import. You'll see a little option to say, please make sure warning to say every column of information should have the appropriate header assigned. If the item or pop-up appears below without the continue button, simply hit the return or enter key to make it shifted up on the page. Then click on the blue continue button. Now we've imported our spreadsheet, which only had one row of data for demonstration purposes, but you should see every single row of data in the spreadsheet appearing here in the preview section. If there are any items that contain invalid data, such as an email address that does not fit the email parameters, it will highlight that cell in red, and you can scroll right and left to highlight over it. If you need to fix any of the data, you may simply select the edit icon under the actions column to pull up the particular staff entry and make the adjustment. For example, if the salutation should not be Dr. but Mr., I can make the change here. I can also adjust any items that may need adjustment. For example, if the email address was incorrect, I can also fix that. Click on Edit, and you'll see the changes reflected in that particular. Then we can click Next Step to head over to the classes. The same rules apply. You can either choose to add a new entry, manually input each new class using the interface here. Required fields are marked by the red asterisks. So in this case, the staff that you populated into the first tab will automatically populate in the teacher dropdown if they have a teacher role assigned. If you're bulk importing data, note that the teacher name will have to be an exact match to the staff name in order to populate correctly in this dropdown. We can put in some data, assign a teacher, and set the class type, as well as enter any other optional information. Then we have the option to either add or save and add new if we wish to go directly to adding the next class manually. Once we're done adding those, we can view all the classes that we've put in the previews panel. If we want to use bulk import, you'll have to remove any manually created classes first. Click bulk import, and you can see it actually saved the file from the first session where we got our staff data from. So we can actually select the same file as before without needing to upload a new one, then go to the next step. When we select a worksheet, we'll click on the classes tab to import that class's data, and then click on select headers. We'll go through the same process as we did with the staff and assign all the appropriate column headers. Staff and grade level title should be the internal title of your class, whereas the report card title of a class or subject is how it will appear on your report cards when generated in Gradelink. You may notice there are some extra columns, such as teacher ID if you're using the template import tool master sheet. You can simply ignore those, as the teacher ID column will automatically be populated by this tool. Secondary teachers can be assigned to classes, and the secondary teacher ID will be automatically populated as well. If you see a column that does not have a corresponding column header in the tool, simply leave it blank. This just means that we are not able to import that data into Gradelink. If you accidentally assign a column header and intended to assign it to a different column, simply select the drop down again, select the blank line at the top, and unassign that column so that you can then assign it to the correct column. You'll notice that as you assign each column available column header, it will gray it out on the options and not allow you to select it again. That's why you'll need to unassign that column header before assigning it to a different column. Once you've assigned all the column headers and assured that the data matches, make sure again to have that box checked for skip first row when importing if your column headers imported from the spreadsheet. This will make sure that it doesn't import the default headers from the spreadsheet as data. Click import and click on continue. You can now proceed to the next step. After assuring that there are no invalid columns, with all the classes imported, we can proceed to the next step of importing our student data. Let's say that we want to use the bulk import. We can, of course, use the add new entry and enter data manually for each student, but in most cases, student data is going to best be done with bulk import tool. Clicking on bulk import, we'll get the same interface and the option to select the file that we had before. However, in this case, let's suppose that we have a separate data sheet with student data. We can simply drag and drop that sheet in. And because I uploaded a CSV, it automatically skips step 2, since there's only one sheet within that file, and goes straight to the select header step. Now you can see there are a variety of columns of data already in this spreadsheet. Again, we'll skip first row when importing, leave that default option checked, and start assigning our column headers. We'll have student first name, last name, middle name, nickname, the grade level. And for the grade level, if you have it in a format such as grade 1 or just the number 1, it will automatically convert it to a format that is easily recognized by Gradelink's database. You want to go through carefully and make sure you assign the correct column to each item. Again, if you come across a column where you accidentally assign the wrong column, simply select the drop-down and either select another column or select the blank item at top to unassign it from that column so that you can use it for the appropriate column. We'll go through and finish the rest here. If at any point there is extra data such as that you don't need to assign, such as a column of blank data, you can simply skip that and it will create that item by default. Click on import, then click on continue. If there are any items that require attention, it will show an invalid orange item, so you can show only the invalid items, and then click on edit next to the appropriate row to edit the data that was marked as invalid. In this case, I want to put a valid email address for this particular row. So I'm inputting that and clicking on edit to do so. And you can see that the email address has been added. Once we're satisfied that all the student data import is where we need it to be, we can scroll to the bottom of this page. Make sure your mouse is on the right or left hand margin when scrolling, otherwise it will scroll within the tool when mousing over. You can then select the option for subgrades and click next. Once you're done with your data, it will present this final confirmation, so make sure to check that box and click on submit. Congratulations. At this point, you will receive an email at the email that you put in at the very beginning of the tool with your data. It will also be submitted to the Gradelink support system, and your dedicated support representative will then reach out with any questions and set up your database. If you're curious about what's next, click What's Next and view the corresponding screen. Thank you for choosing Gradelink, and we hope this implementation process has been simple to follow, and we welcome you to the Gradelink family.